Well, hello, welcome to another video. Now, you're not looking at my ugly face because this video is about my home office and some changes that I want to make, which I think are going to improve things. And if you're interested in networking and maybe even installation of a rack, because that's what I'm looking at doing as well, not a massive rack, but a rack nonetheless, then this could very well be the video for you. Now, this one is going to be talking about my plans, not actually doing anything yet, but I'm hoping it'll develop into a series of videos as I change this room around. Now, if I actually go under the desk here, it might start to demonstrate why I think I've got a problem. Every project has a problem that you're trying to solve. Now you see here that I've got an extension lead there, and that is on top of a couple of cardboard boxes, and so that's the first problem. And there's all sorts of sort of hanging cables here. Now the reason this is on top of a box is because this is a sit-stand desk, and the desk goes up and down. There's the there's a switch there that I use for going up and down, that's another problem because this really should be fixed onto something. And I've had this desk for 3 years and I've never fixed that switch onto anything, so that needs to be done. But when the desk goes up, the cables here aren't long enough, so that's why that's on top of those boxes. So that's there, it's an extension lead. If I go down here, we then have, right under the desk, we then have another extension lead. This is not uncommon. If you've got a den or a home office or whatever, you'll be familiar with this. You have like a rat's nest of cables all over the place. So that's not ideal. Look, a load of old cables going there. And if I then go over here, down the side there, oh, that's probably the worst. We have a real jumble of cables, extension leads, and all sorts of things plugged in to power my various devices. And then also we've got cables down the side here in front of the radiator. That's not great. There's my switch, which we'll talk about in a moment. Another problem is inside this cupboard is my NAS. And I'm sure there's been quite a few people already on this video saying, why have you got a server inside a cupboard? That's not really a very good thing to do. And the reason that I've got it in there is because I originally used to have it on top of the desk, but the fan makes quite a bit of noise, even on its quiet setting. And my computer over here, my Trashcan Mac Pro, is very quiet, very quiet. Doesn't make any sound at all. So the only sound that was in the room was the fans in this NAS, and that was starting to get on my nerves a little bit. So I decided to put it in the cupboard, and what I did was to wind the fans right up, and the temperature that this runs at is actually not that much hotter than when it was on top of the desk, but it's still hardly ideal having it inside a cupboard, really, let's be honest. So my plan is to try and improve things a little bit. And one of the things I want to do is to put a rack in. Now, as you can see, there's not a massive amount of room in here, so I'm going to have a bit of a sort out. These drawers are going, and I'm going to move a bit of furniture around. The desk is going to go over into that corner, and there will be space eventually, trust me, where the desk is at the moment for a rack to go in. Just a small rack, don't get carried away. I'm looking at an 18U rack. More of a sort of data cabinet really than a server rack, because it's not going to be like a full depth rack. It's just going to be a 600mm size. That's the one that I'm looking at the moment. And when that goes in, my plan is to have as many devices in there as I can to try and sort of focus all my data, all the networking stuff into that cabinet. So obviously my NAS will be going in there. Okay, that's not rack mountable as you can see, but it will go on a rack shelf. My switch, which is maxed out at the moment, and I've even had to start using ports on the back of my Airport Extreme router, that will be replaced with a rack mounted switch, probably 24 ports. That would be more than enough. 16 would probably be enough, but I want to build a little bit of redundancy into the new setup. I've got plans for this Cisco switch for another project, so that won't be going to waste. I also perhaps thinking about getting a UPS, which would be a good thing to do as well, and just generally improving the wiring and the power, and put a patch panel in there, and just generally label everything up and just make it much better setup than I've got at the moment, and just really get rid of a lot of this sort of cables, which is just a jumble, and it's just a mess. I mean, you're trying to troubleshoot, it's not great. So that's the plan. One other thing I want to do is this radiator is absolutely gigantic, and this room used to be much bigger than this. This stud wall has gone in here and made the room smaller, and so I don't need a radiator that's that huge. So that radiator will be going. I'll get a smaller rad, slightly lower down as well, and the idea being that the desk can just slightly fit over the top, and sort of over here, and then that'll actually give me about 10 centimetres more space that way, which is quite good. And also it'll be away from that wall a bit, which will enable me to fit the rack closer to the wall over there as well. So I've got all these plans, as you can tell, but this video was really just to talk about them, just to introduce what I'm going to be doing, and hoping that you'll stick with me over this journey over the next weeks and months. And this is my project really for 2017, to improve the wiring, improve the networking, put a rack in, and hopefully you'll join me for it. So keep an eye out. If you enjoyed this video, if you didn't enjoy me listening to me waffle, I'm sure, but if you enjoyed the prospect, we think you might enjoy the prospect of watching me put this new setup in, then I'd very much like you to come along with me on the ride, and perhaps click the subscribe button, and you'll be notified when the next part of this video goes up, the next part of my project. So look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, if you have any comments that you think might be helpful, then please post them below. You can contact me on Twitter and various social media that's on screen right now. And I'll look forward to seeing you in part 2 of the Great Network Change 2017. Thanks for watching.